Today we are making cherry pie filling. I picked up some beautiful fresh berries a couple days ago and I processed the blueberries in a separate video. And today we are going to start working on that 18-pound flat of Bing cherries. A regular fruit is totally fine. These taste amazing. These are perfect for canning. You definitely want to use gloves because cherry juice will stain everything. And the cherry pitter makes everything super easy. And I got a good deal on these, and irregular fruit like this is totally fine for canning. You just cut off any parts that you don't want and separate any double fruit. They're fresh, delicious, absolutely amazing. These are perfect for canning. Let's get started. You start with a water bath here with some ice. And here's just a little sneak peek of some of my extra canning supplies in the background. I got everything washed and ready to go. So here we'll take just a regular shaped cherry because that was the easiest thing for me to do for the video, and you'll just pop it in the cherry pitter. And when you squeeze, that metal bar goes right through the middle and just pops out the pit. And this just makes everything super easy. That way you're not messing around with a knife and all that stuff. And you can just compost or discard those pits. And then the cherry goes in the ice water bath. And then you just repeat for all the fruits. And like I mentioned, just cut off any irregular bits and separate the double cherries. There might be a little bit more waste than with standard size, but again, I got a really good deal on these and they're fresh and delicious. You'll take 87 grams of clear gel and 700 grams of sugar, put those in a container, and we'll get back to those in a minute. The water is boiling, so we'll add the cherries to the boiling water, and as soon as the water has reached a boiling temperature again, then you set the timer for 1 minute and let the cherries boil for 1 minute. And then you'll put the cherries in a pot and cover them with a lid, and that way the fruit can just hang out there for a minute while we get everything else ready to go. So you'll add just over 4.5 cups of cold water to the clear gel and sugar and stir it up, and then you'll bring it up to a boil, and as soon as it's reached a boil you will add the lemon juice and then boil for 1 minute. And I actually forgot to video that section where I add the lemon juice. But here it is being weighed out. And once that mixture is ready, after the lemon juice has been in there for 1 minute, you will immediately add the hot fruit and mix it together, and then straight away we'll go to the canning step. So here you'll put that wide mouth funnel into the jar and just make sure you get a nice even mix of the liquid and the cherries, and you'll add the mixture until you reach 1 inch of headspace. And I actually got that on the first try here. Practice helps. It gets easier the more you go through the steps and you build that muscle memory in those repetition steps. And here you'll just be sure to wipe the rim with either water or vinegar on a paper towel. Just make sure that that lid of the jar is nice and clean to ensure a good seal. You'll place that lid on and then twist the ring on until finger tight, which means as tight as you can twist the jar with just your fingertips without grabbing and twisting too hard. You want to leave a little space. And then carefully with the tongs, you'll put the jar into the hot water bath. And this is the last jar of that batch. And I always like to have an extra jar in there just in case, because sometimes the volumes are more than I expect and it never hurts to have an extra, but we'll take that out for now because we didn't need it today. And you'll just make sure that you have a minimum of 1 inch of water coverage over those jars. And here's a little sneak peek in the corner. I have some fresh rolls out of the oven cooling down. And that water was just kind of hanging out warm, but now we'll turn it up to high until you reach a boil. And I use the lid to help retain that heat. And you'll process those for 30 minutes. And then very carefully remove the jars. And you want to keep the jars nice and straight. You don't want to tilt them or wiggle them. And coming up, I actually managed to get a couple pops on camera for you. And you'll want to leave those jars for 12 to 24 hours to ensure that the rubber gaskets have a chance to seal. And this is the next day that we're picking up. And you can see there's no movement at all. There's no flex in the lid. I'm able to lift up the jar just by the lid. So that shows a perfect seal. And the jars are a little sticky here because there's always a little bit of that cherry mixture that comes out during boiling. So that's why you want to make sure that after processing you wash the jars, because you want to make sure you don't get any kind of mold growing on the jars or anything sticky. Just wash them, dry them, label them with the contents and the date, and then they are shelf stable for 12 to 18 months. In the first batch, I didn't add any flavoring, but in future batches, I want to try almond extract and vanilla extract. Thank you for watching.